Oprah says that the current trend for young people, or some young people anyway, is that they're going no contact with their families. Have y'all heard about this?
No, I haven't.
Hell no.
No, I'm intrigued.
All right, here we go.
I have been no contact with my entire family for a year and a half now.
No contact.
No contact.
Not a phone call, not a text, not a nothing.
Nothing.
For a year and a half now. Okay. Chris, how about you?
It's been 4 years since I've had contact with my parents and my siblings.
Damn.
4 years.
Gotta hear the why.
Not a word.
Not a word.
Okay. And Kendall,
I've been no contact with my 30-year-old son for 2 years.
by your choice.
By choice.
Okay.
Ooh, the study.
The study.
Hey, study boys, we back.
We back. A little hiatus. We back though.
Back like we never left. What's up with it, broski?
That's real. Oh man, chilling, man. I'm good, man. Just living life.
That
living
pork,
life.
that pork.
It's warming up, man. It's warming up. In the tail end of winter, we're heading to spring. It's
That's a
already
fact.
85 degrees.
Yep.
Little spring weather.
Yeah.
Spring weather.
Yep. Same here. Super
Summer
hot.
light.
You feel me? All that. Hopefully, where everybody is, snow is melting, ice is melting, all that. Y'all in preparation for this new season. You know what I'm saying? And we mean literally, not new season the way
Bars.
the term has been abused.
That's a double. That's a double. Nah, that's a good point though for what we're looking at today in regards to how, man, it seems like it's like such a popular cliche statement of cut this person off. They're preventing you from going forward, or people are cutting their family off because they're holding them back. And there's a whole bunch of things stopping people from their new season, as you're saying. Preparing for the new season, I had to do this because I can't have that. I can't be around that person, or can't be this. And you hear it so much.
Yeah. And it's interesting too, because I think people are so hurt and scarred, and we throw around words like trauma, not to say that those words don't have meaning or are not important, but these are such like common talking points. And the interesting thing though is that the solution that most people are coming up with, at least just pop culture, is isolation and trusting yourself, as if yourself has some form of integrity that can heal you, as if yourself has some form of stability and hope that you can depend on. And it's like, bro, we are just like everybody else, sinners. And we'll let ourselves down just like other people. How many times you say, man, I'm going to the gym because I need to get healthier, or I ain't gonna hang out with this person because it's not like, we constantly break our own laws. But why do we look to ourselves like, I can't trust nobody, I'm trusting me? Or I don't trust the church, my personal relationship. We always default to ourselves like we're trustworthy. You know what I mean? And I get it in some sense, where you've been scarred by a lot of people, or you've been scarred by life, and you just want to be in isolation. But that's a temporary pit stop. It can't be a permanent solution. So yeah, already, man, I'm saying a lot, but yeah, this a relevant thing to the way people think nowadays,
Very much so. And it's always crazy to me how you mentioned the word trauma. So there are real reasons why people have to distance themselves from certain situations and various things. But there's no way it's this massive. Like a lot of times it's nothing that dire. People are like, I'm not talking to my family. And it's like, but your cousin did nothing to you. That was your auntie, or but you're cutting everybody off. Or they're using something that everybody has their own weighing scale. But we can't classify everything as trauma and use it just to get rid of any type of aspect of community that doesn't fit what you consider the norm or the mold, in a sense. I mean, because honestly, maybe you're the person holding someone else back. Or maybe that person, like, you think they're holding you back, but really it's your own, like not going to the gym or something like that. It might be really yourself, but that person is the scapegoat being used. like there's no telling in a sense, but we're called to community, and when people are so quick to dismiss their neighbor and brush off their neighbor or not forgive their neighbor, like it goes various directions to where we're not called to just be that flimsical, because if that person's that close to you, I'm pretty sure they've been that way for a while. So that's part I have a hard time with. All of a sudden now it's too much. So like they've been that way for the past 5 years, you've known them. But now it's too much. It's like, maybe distance yourself, but you don't have to cut somebody off. Maybe you can put your boundary up, but we're talking about people cutting people off, literally, like, this person's not my life no more because of XYZ. And I know people, first thing they think of is the extreme. The person shot my car up while I was in the store. Like, come on, man. That's not the example most people are using. The person did, come on, like, there are extreme examples, but 9 times out of 10, the person using it isn't relying on one of those. He didn't do, or she didn't do nothing like that. So it's just, it's so easy to cut somebody off as if we're always the right person, or that's always what's needed in a sense, because forgiveness is not something we like to talk about or hear or implement. There's a reason why you don't hear about it that much in the pulpit.
That's a fact, bro. So yeah, with that being said, I know we're gonna have a lot more to say because this is a on the ground topic. It's a new sort of solution for problems that, and even now, even in the workforce and in academia, we have come to create like safe spaces for you to isolate. So we've even found a positive way to keep people isolated and separated from others. And for some good reasons, and then other reasons you got to question, like, is this what we want to do? Is this how we want to build people?
Bro,
And so yeah, we'll talk a lot more about that. But
The
yeah, man.
facts. You got me thinking about people. Everybody's church hurt. Everybody, I can't go. I gotta. Come on, man. Come on. I'm not saying it's not real. I hate even having to do that disclaimer. Majority of people just don't want to go to church. Majority of people want, and that's an easy excuse because it's a trendy thing to say. But let's go. I don't want to start. You know what I'm saying? That just, or my mind went right then.
For sure. All right, let's get into this clip, man. Let's go.
The greatest gift that you can give to someone that you love are some problems. If there's a person in your life who is refusing to grow, to change, to mature, it might just be because you are standing in the way of their growth and their maturation. By rescuing them from the fallout of their bad behavior, of always being there to save them and to fix things for them, the greatest gift you can give that person is to get out of the way and force them to deal with the problems of their own making. And that's not cruel. That's not punitive. In fact, it's a form, it's an expression of love. I mean, even the Bible says that God disciplines those that he loves. He allows us to deal with the implications of our bad behavior so that we might be trained by it, changed by it. We might grow and mature as a result of it. Does he forgive every sin in Jesus Christ? Absolutely. Does he judge our place in his family based on our behavior? No, but based on the faithfulness and the behavior of Jesus Christ on our behalf. And yet, in order for us to grow and change, he allows us to deal with the implications of our poor choices because he loves us. He gets out of the way and forces us to deal with the wake that our own behavior creates. And maybe with that one person you're thinking of, you need to do the same.
Yeah, I love the take on that of, it's not about cutting somebody off, because whenever someone talks about cutting somebody off, usually it's that person is making bad decisions. That person is a mess up. That person is, various things of that nature. Maybe they're relying on you too much or things of that nature. So rather than putting the focus on myself of my life would be a lot easier if I didn't deal with this person no more. I'm through with them. I'm this. The focus is still on loving neighbor. The focus is on, I'm going to let you go through this. But notice, he's still there. He's still around. Just to, after he goes through it and the lessons learned of, man, I'm glad, I see that was a season you had to go through. But they didn't just kick them to the curve. This person that I'll go as far as to say this person that they are in community with, in fellowship with, someone who they actually love and care for, they didn't just kick them to the curve. They actually let them fail, but was still there for them or there around them for the next phase, the next step, the next process. Like, it's a whole different mindset than this is better for me to kick you out because you're messed up. Instead, it's you're messed up, man. All this foul stuff you're doing, I'm gonna let it play out. But I still care for you. I still love you. I'm still gonna be here. I'm just not gonna get invested in it. It's a unique dynamic, but I love how he puts it together in that clip.
Yeah, no, I do too. I feel like it's the needed angle to this discussion because it's rooted in the forgiveness of Jesus Christ. It's rooted in the
Yeah,
gospel, the forgiveness of sins. So it gives us like a paradigm of understanding how to do both law and gospel. So it's like,
yeah,
right? So my part of being harsh and somewhat cold is the heavy weight of the law that they need to confront them, to see themselves, their own self-destruction, or bringing destruction on everybody around them. They need to see that and feel that for what it is, as
right.
opposed to coddling it, babysitting it, and acting like it's just going to be okay. So you got that component in place, which is what most people harp on, which is how
Yeah,
bad somebody is, how trash they are, how much they don't deserve
facts.
it. Like, we're really good with that talking point, but we
Right.
struggle with how do you at the same time simultaneously stay alongside of this person to some degree. How do you, you know, should you keep praying for them or not? Should you like, so it does get a bit, well, let me finish my thought. So I like the fact that it's gospel and law as a new paradigm on dealing with difficult people or difficult stages of a relationship. But yeah, I think also the challenge is some of the specifics, which would be stuff like how long do you wait? How much difficulty do you undergo? In some extreme cases, how much abuse do you, right, sort of let yourself be impacted by before you finally say enough is enough? So I think it becomes more complicated as you get specific, but I do think the overarching concept that he's putting forth is a needed one to the conversation of how to deal with conflict, difficult people, difficult situations. There's got to be something different than just cutting people off, right? Because then you're
Yeah,
assuming your own innocence in every situation, and you're not serving neighbor by sticking around to help them finish understanding perhaps what God may be doing with the discipline, the consequences. So it's a needed part of the discussion, but it does get more complicated as you push on it a little bit. So I was thinking, like, do you have in your head like an example? I have an example in my head, but do you have an example of a situation that would be relevant to what he's suggesting? Like an example of, man, here's somebody that either personal, like a personal experience or a situation, here's something that I can refer to where this person was bad for them or for somebody else, and you just have to kind of be hands off and then let God do his thing. Do you have an example of something like that?
yeah. I mean, thinking about it, yeah. I didn't have it mapped out, but yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
no, but before I get to the example, I agree with you on when it comes to it harming or hurting you and your family and things of that nature. I just think that we can't use the 2% or the 3% of the time that happens when we know people are using it for way less reasons majority of the time. Majority of the time, it's nothing that dire as, an abusive spouse where you're saying you have to stay there. No, like that happens, yes, and there's no one saying you shouldn't cut ties and go forth or nothing like that. We're saying majority of the time you hear about these things, it's not on that dire scale. So we have to be more discerning in a sense. So
Yeah.
to my example, like I grew up knowing people who sold drugs, did things like that. And like that would bring negative consequences, like for instance, them going to jail. But then they would need money on their books. And now people are coming, hey man, hey, XYZ, XYZ. It's like, you know what? I'm still here for them. Like, I'll still write them a letter. I'll still receive it. I'll still even take that collect call. But sometimes you have to pull back saying, you keep doing the same thing and end up in the same place and it's becoming a burden for the family. We're not going to cut you off though. Like, I'm not going to withhold this family dynamic or this right here, even though obviously that's not stopping you from putting us under this stress or this strain in a sense. But it's easy to do that. It's easy to be like, nah, this person, especially when someone starts getting, not to say, I won't use the word religious because everybody has a negative term when it comes to that for some reason. I'm so religious. But when a person starts really walking in, like trying to follow what God says to do in life and try to live accordingly, it's easy for that pious thought and that notion to lead to, I can't be around this person no more because they're doing that. I have to distance myself from them and cut it off because they're not living a lifestyle on the righteousness path that I see or that I'm holding to in a sense. Right?
Yeah.
I have two thoughts. I don't want to get off topic. But a lot of times, that person who might be in jail, in and out, doing this thing, and we're judging their lifestyle, their walk, might be the nicest, sweetest person to the family or the various people. You know what I'm saying? But we're judging that aspect, that sin. But I don't want to get sidetracked. That type of dynamic where it's easy to be like, you know what? I'm done with that. I'm done with him. Rather than let the chips fall where they may and still be there afterwards when they come out. Hey, man. Hey, take 5. Let's go. Take 8. Like, you've been in jail a lot. You know, but when you come out, let's find you a place. I'll try to help you get a job. You start missing days. I told you what's going to happen. You get fired. Hey, bro, that's the consequence. It's a cycle, yes. It's annoying, yes. But I'm not going to cut you off and leave you out here alone. And God put me in your life for various reasons. So that's the
That's
example I
good.
would have, you know?
Nah, I think that's good. It also makes me think about the other aspect of what he brought up, which is, so for the person hearing this, there's a bit of law confrontation because he's also saying, hey, you, the one watching this, have
Oh,
you
yeah.
ever been the hindrance to someone's
Somebody.
growth? You know what I'm
Good
saying?
point.
So that's an interesting component too, because man, it's challenging to find that middle where you are trying to endure with somebody through a difficult situation. Like you said, maybe something like drug abuse, crime, a criminal lifestyle, or even children. So, like a child that's going through rebellious, you know, teen years or something like that, and the parents trying to be patient with them. They're trying to remember when they was in that mindset. So I think while it's easy to cut people off, it's also another temptation, which is to enable and to let them linger, right, and draw on your kindness and your enabling. And I think those are two difficult places to detect sometimes within your own self. Like, where am I on the scale? Am I
Right.
enabling or am I being too quick, too impatient? And so, yeah, he raises a good challenge, man. I think, and I like how he put it in context also of this is how God functions for us. So we catch our cues from God in that God will give us leeway. He'll give us leeway, right? There's grace. Go ahead and repent. You may have done this thing one time, a trillion times, but still haven't felt the weight or the consequences of this bad action or lifestyle. But at some point, God may let you experience the natural consequences of your decisions. So we do catch a cue from God that you can't let it go on forever. Even eternal punishment is I guess an eternal demonstration of that. But even in time, it's like sometimes somebody end up getting caught out of they've been doing this whole operation for X amount of years, then bam, it's over. Somebody been, wilding out, and then bam, they get disease,
Right.
pregnancy, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like it'd be a lot of stuff that can just be an expression of God pulling back the sort of protection and just letting something go ahead and give the consequence. But I do think what he's saying is challenging because in real life, day to day, especially if you're close to the person, you love them,
Right.
woo, you trying to endure. You praying and hoping like, man, I know they keep getting locked up and keep calling me to bail them out, but I'm gonna go ahead and bail them out again and again and again as an expression of love, as an
Right.
expression of long suffering. But how do you discern when it's too much, when it's too far? So it does.
So
It's
I hear you.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
But
It opens it. It opens the door.
I think the nuance though from what you're saying though is like with the whole dynamic you're mentioning, he still is there. Like even what you're saying, you don't bail him out. That's not cutting them off though. That's not I'm through with you. You're dead to me. Like you see what I'm saying? Like so I
Yeah,
agree with you. I think that's what he's saying. That sometimes you have to let them fail. Sometimes you have to. Hey, look, you have to face your consequences. Something I tell my kids all the time is if you do something, you have to be okay with the result. There's consequences and repercussions. You have to be okay with that. Don't get me wrong. I will save them a lot of times from a lot of those repercussions and consequences. But when I don't, you still knew what you signed up for. But I wouldn't turn my back. You know what I'm saying? Like the aspect
yeah,
of, oh, you did that again. I'm done with you. It's over. Don't call me afterwards. Don't. I'm nothing to you now. That's the part where I think that society more so goes to where, which is a little step further than what you're saying. Because I totally agree with you. Where it's like I'm not bailing you out now. I'm not. I'm not doing that. I'm not. I'm not going out my way for this. That doesn't mean I hate you. That doesn't mean after you walk 5 miles back home or whatever it is, I'm not gonna be yo. What's up Saturday? We watching the game. I'm still gonna be around, but I might have to distance myself a little bit. But that's not the aspect of I'm done with you. Not talking to somebody for years on end, your own family, and things of that nature.
yeah, yeah. No, that's good, bro. And I know we got more clips too, but I will reiterate that I like that with this difficult conversation, it brings to the discussion how to function in a relationship as both law and gospel, as rules and grace, right?
Yes.
And to your point, this is where we often fail. I think we do go to either extreme. We enable to the end where the
Right.
person just can't grow, or yeah, the person is they dead to you, right? And even in sincerity and repentance, they're begging for another chance, a way back in. They get it now, but it's over. It's over.
Hearts
You
hardened. Hearts hardened.
hard-hearted, you know what I mean? And I
Yeah.
think even in scripture, you see an example of that. You have one of the letters Paul wrote, the second letter to the Corinthian church. You had, if it's the same person in a first letter, you had this guy who was wilding out, right? Sleeping with his dad's mom. So he living on the
Wow.
edge. Paul, like, man, y'all doing stuff that even non-Christians blush
Right.
at and will be ashamed
Shoo.
of. You know what I'm saying? But he's saying, he like, y'all think you're being gracious, but this is you should be mourning, he says. It's like,
Right.
this is more like a funeral. This ain't a time to celebrate. Look how gracious we're being. It's like, no, this is trash. You know what I'm saying? So he
Hmm.
gives them that confrontation of, man, y'all are enabling this dude. This is not right. You can't let him linger in this grave, gross sin that even non-Christians will be ashamed of.
Right.
Fast forward in this next letter to the Corinthian church, if it's the same person, again, you see Paul making this argument like, okay, let the dude back in. He's
Right. Right. Right.
he's repentant. Like, how much more do you want this man to do? Like, and I
Yeah.
think oftentimes we do get stuck in one of those pitfalls, bro.
Yeah.
It
I
just,
love that
I like,
point.
yeah,
I
turn
love
up.
that point. How he's repentant, meaning that that door was still there. You know what I'm saying? Like w- we had to back off to let you fall and let you go through this, but it's still an opportunity where it's, hey, welcome back, bro. Like when you cut somebody off, you remove all possibility of that. Really, you're making them beg, yearn, and plead to come back rather than actually having a fair and honest assessment of, hey, they're trying. You know, not saying they'll never mess up again, but they're trying. They're putting, yeah, hey, our relationship might have changed, but let's go. So I love that example. You know, if it is the same person,
Yeah,
but for this hypothetical conversation we're having, it goes to the point of if someone is in a situation where you have to step out the way and be like, I'm gonna let you fall to the consequence of this, still being able to be that person who, when it's all said and done, they can be like, man, you were right. Give you a hug and know that, man, but I love that you were here for me. Someone I could talk to afterwards, and someone who still accepts me and doesn't still judge me by yesteryear. Truth be told, in his example, he talked about how Christ does forgive our sins. If Christ viewed us that way, heaven will be empty. To be honest with you,
that's a fact.
heaven will be empty.
And it's, man, this is interesting because Paul does. I mean, he says that he talks about turning someone over to Satan, bro, that their body may be buffeted, right? So it's a biblical category, as he mentioned in the clip, to let a person go, let them feel the pain, let them feel the fire. And yeah, I think a lot of times we would think that's an unholy thing. So it's healthy to have these categories so that you can know what the parameters are, what the boundaries are, and not go to either extreme. Man, this is real life. This is real life.
Yeah.
This is real family, real church life, right? Even real workforce life. These are all things that we have to think about day to day, moment by moment, as we interact with other sinners, you know?
Right. Facts. And the pastor, his name is Pastor Matt Popovich. He's located in Texas. Solid dude, and I love this clip that he has. He's on all the platforms. If y'all want to, find him. He also won Wheel of Fortune. It's a random Snapple fact, but yeah.
Hold on, let me give him
That's what's up.
his just due for that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah, let's get into this next clip, gang. I think we're gonna keep the conversation going, keep building on this thought. It's real practical, real useful, on the ground, law, gospel, grace and forgiveness, man. This is good.
Yeah, so being there is important, right? And it's such a trend, as we keep mentioning, this aspect of cutting people off, not dealing with them no more. That you have popular people who are icons like Oprah releasing stats and talking about it, and number one platform secular type internet shows talking about it, and you can show it. You know what I'm saying? There's aspects of everybody. This is such a popular topic, such a common motif in the sense of they're holding me back, cut them off. Not just them, cut everybody off. I could do better. It's so rampant.
That's wild. Let's get into that, broski.
Oprah says that the current trend for young people, or some young people anyway, is that they're going no contact with their families. Have y'all heard about this?
No, I haven't.
Hell no. I'm intrigued.
I'm gonna play this clip for y'all. Like to hear.
After mom's in the show.
Exactly. Halfway there.
Yeah, I'm scared for Mark and Mona to reply, but here we go. And Ish, actually. All right, here we go.
I have been no contact with my entire family for a year and a half now.
No contact.
No contact.
Not a phone call, not a text, not a nothing.
Nothing.
For a year and a half now. Okay. Chris, how about you?
It's been 4 years since I've had contact with my parents and my siblings.
Damn.
4 years.
Gotta hear the why.
Not a word.
Not a word.
Okay. And Kendall,
I've been no contact with my 30-year-old son for 2 years.
by your choice.
By choice.
Okay.
Crazy.
See, they get into
They
the
don't even say
why
why?
in this clip.
Yeah, because I gotta
In
hear
the
the why.
caption, it says, "Why are parents judged for cutting off their adult children? How can you tell if a parent is emotionally immature? Have we gone too far? Is forgiveness possible?" Oprah. I was just so stunned by this.
I get it. I mean, again, it depends. If
I
it's-
brought it up to see if somebody here got it and
I get it.
explain it to me.
Just because, I mean, the thing about family is you love them, you're close to them, but these are people who are brought into your life who you didn't choose.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you're surrounded by people who aren't good to
They're not
you
the right
or good
people.
for you.
Yeah, absolutely.
And the fact that you happen to share blood doesn't mean that y'all have to be that.
Yep.
We tend to keep family close because they're family.
Mm-hmm.
but sometimes that's not
Good or
enough.
bad, whether- yeah.
Exactly. And sometimes it becomes unhealthy, and sometimes you got to cut people off. I think it would take an extreme act for me to do that. But I get it. I get how you could do it. Doing it to your child is probably the hardest one, but I get it.
That is wild, bro. That is a thing.
A trend.
It's a trend.
It's a
Man.
trend when you have Oprah talking about it like it's a common stat. Like legend has it, everybody puts their pants on one leg at a time. Like it's common.
It is. And it's wild. I was laughing because I don't know if these people are religious or not, but I'm just thinking how much humans are all alike in that it was kind of like a pious contest where it was like, I haven't talked to my family in 1 year and 6 months. And then the next dude come back, I haven't talked to my family in 4 years. And the third person, I ain't talked to my son in a year and a half. And they just kind of kept one-upping each other.
Right.
But I do think humans will always try to find a way to out somebody else, which I think is a part of this overall problem. But anyway, back to the subject. I think I'm interested in the why, but if I had to guess, I do think that we are not being trained just on a basic level on how to endure relationships, because a lot of times we don't experience healthy relationships where you come up in a family. Ideally, you'll have mom, dad, siblings, which teaches you how to interact and conflict resolution and be patient with other people and lend your preference to somebody else, esteem somebody else above you, let them sit in the front seat sometime, sharing. I think these are concepts that when the family structure breaks down on those early developmental years, you don't get that. So then now you in a adult society and you haven't even exercised those basic elements. So then then you become a Christian and you're trying to apply, I hope you got healthy Christianity, but if you got apostate trash Christianity, you're also being taught it's all about you, cut people off. This your season. God said he gonna take you to the next level once you get rid of those people in your life. So now you got all these layers upon layers upon layers of never being developed in long suffering, the fruit of the spirit, patience, endurance. And now you have religiosity added to it, and it's just a mess, bro. So I do think I can see the why being this is a societal issue. It's actually probably an epidemic, something that we have to really think about as a society, but even as the church. And that's why this conversation is important. How do we sort of get back to reestablishing those principles in the culture and in the church, bro? Because it's made its way all the way to Oprah and a Joe Budden podcast, and now people kind of bragging about it.
Bro,
it's a badge of honor. I ain't even talked to my son. Yeah, turn up.
The one you raised. How about that? But it's crazy that you mentioned that. So that last thing you mentioned got me thinking of someone else also. But only reason I'm not really interested in the why is because how it starts off where she's showing that it's a trend. So this is a commonplace thing that's getting more and more common. So even if those three people or three examples had good whys, I can't say those whys are enough to where everybody's going through this, where everybody don't have this good example for enough for it to be a trend in the sense. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
In that regard. So to me, it still shows the aspect of this is becoming so common of younger people or people in general to cut people off that it's being recognized as a trend. The second part that got me is it's not even they're cutting one person off. People were saying, I haven't talked to my family. I haven't. Now, the last lady who's like, I haven't talked to my son. I don't know what happened between them. It has to be something pretty severe for it to be your son. But beyond the aspect of that personal dynamic, at least that's one person who maybe they did something deeply wrong to you. When it's a family, it's like, you mean to tell me even if you have a small family, you have 5 people. You have 2 cousins, a third cousin. You see what I'm saying? Maybe one brother or something like that. Everybody Everybody. You can't even have a text relationship, an email. You can't have a Facebook friendship. We all got those Facebook friends. You ain't talked to this person since graduation, but you comment on a post. They comment on your post. That's it. That's the extent of the friendship. You can't even do that. You have to cut them off. And then, like you said, brag about it in a sense. It's just way too common. And the aspect of, as you're saying, growing up with these people, this is your family, these people you're around, or these are friends that you've been around all this time. I can't say I guess I can. Where is the forgiveness? Because maybe they have forgiven in the past. But there's nothing wrong with boundaries. Like the extreme of cutting somebody off and not talking to them is different than, you know what? I got to create boundaries. Like, for instance, and this is not a good example, but it's an example that real life. I have a friend who can't stop talking. So when you're confiding in him, you fill in the blank. Oh, his wife's going to find out. And hey, I get it. I get it. We're married, but it's like, bro, I was talking to you. So that boundary of, I just know I can't confide in Sahab like that. I got to talk to somebody else. I'm not cutting him off because I felt like he betrayed my trust or this and this. No, that's still my people's. You're just a little further from the inner circle. You're still there, but you just, I just can't go to you with this. That's different than cutting somebody off. And that's the aspect these people are boasting and bragging about. I haven't talked to them in 4 years. Like, yo, you can't just back up and distance yourself and still be like, hey, you're not coming to Thanksgiving because y'all know how it happens. All that stuff. I'm good, but I still love y'all. I'll still reach out. We still could keep in contact. And maybe reconciliation could happen, but that door's still there.
Yeah. Ooh. Man, I got degrees in counseling, bro. So my brain is going so many different places. But what I
Yeah,
like
you
about
do.
this conversation is because it does take community to rebuild in these pockets, these pitfalls. You need the local church to help, like, cultivate these ideas, massage into your mind that it's okay to try again, to trust that it's okay to put up healthy boundaries. You need all hands on deck. You know what I'm saying? Because, man, it's like, bro, when you, like, for example, like, you have some people that don't know how to protect themselves, don't know how to put up those boundaries, and
Right.
they are perpetually vulnerable because they have a deficit within themselves. So it's even dangerous for them to be left alone trying to reconcile with somebody because they will inherently let themselves be taken advantage of again. They don't have the emotional resources to sustain strength. And that's why they would need community. They would need to open up and let somebody know, hey, I'm about to try to, piece it back together with my cousin, with my uncle. And, so if you can help me as I'm trying to, here's the boundaries I want to set in place, so can you hold me accountable to those boundaries so that way I can protect myself? I'm not going in this alone. So we need that kind of stuff too, because I do think there can be at least times where you feel like I need to cut this person off for good. And not just the extreme stuff. Like, here's an example. Like, I remember back in the day, I had a partner who was always needy, like needed gas money,
Yeah.
food money, couple of dollars on his rent, you know what I'm saying? And you try to be there because it's not like a lot. It's like $10 here, 20, 50,
Right.
100, you know what I'm saying? And then it get to the point where you don't even hear from the person unless they need the bag. And it just becomes a repetitive thing. And you get to the point where it's like, yo, like, are we squad? Are we gang? Are we like,
Right.
what's
Right.
going on? And then you figure like, let me confront. You confront. I ain't know you felt like that, bro. No, it ain't that. Da 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 da. You think cool? We progressed. We had a
Back
hard
at it again.
confrontational back at. Hey, bro, let me borrow a couple. I tried. I done got myself into a bing. You know what I'm saying? And then
Yeah.
bow, same thing. So it get to the point where it's like, yo, how do I practice this law gospel thing where I'm Whatever you're doing where you're not managing your money well, you need to feel that so you
Yeah.
can take care of your finances.
And I think that's what Matt was talking about. That I'm gonna let you fall.
Bang. Yeah.
I'm gonna let you
But then,
fall.
so but to your point, you said moments ago, it's not that you have to outright cut them off, but the person that is probably more apt to let them back in sooner or in a healthier way has the emotional resources to be able to put those things in place. But for the person that's a bit more timid, shy, insecure, they're going to need more help. So they may
Right.
need
More
longer
community.
time with the cutoff. So these things
Right.
do become relative. It's not like a cookie cutter rule for every
Mhm.
situation. It's like case by case. But these are the things of life, bro. These are the things of life. This is a good topic. This is a good topic. Yep.
Yeah. And another aspect that we could delve into, if you like, is the aspect of not forgiving, to
That's
where
good.
somebody has did that. Because you mentioned earlier how the church kind of has to confront or be around for these type of conversations. You hinted at earlier, and I meant to answer that part also. And I think that's why a church has to keep the punchline of forgiveness of sin, and that we are sinners. You are a sinner. We're not going to talk about the outside world, because then it's easy to be like, yes, they need to be redeemed. They need us to bring them the gospel. If cut them off, shake your sandal off and leave that person. And we apply that loosely to everything. When you're hearing law gospel in the pulpit and you're realizing that, man, I struggle too. I'm glad God forgives me. Or, man, I did sin against Jim over there. Like I wasn't right. And you're confronted with conviction and things of that nature. It teaches you how to operate to where you can forgive and move forward, or you realize, hey, what you did was not right, and you can confront something and have a biblical standard, but still realize, no, we're still cool, but I just have to distance myself and let this play out because it's not okay. And you have that community around you that you're talking about in that sense. So now I think it's very forgiveness is a big part of this also,
It
because
is.
sometimes it is for health and safety reasons. Always have to put a disclaimer out there, so people will hear a portion and jump to it. So she should stay with it. This is happening. No one's saying that. We're saying majority of instances though aren't as dire as that. So let's remove that one to the side. And sometimes forgiveness is necessary, where someone did do you wrong and they are coming back to the plate and they are trying to reconcile, but you've cut them off. Then what?
Yeah, that's good, bro. And it's so dope too because in our tradition, bro, we go every Sunday to divine service, and guess what we say and petition before our Lord? Every Sunday, gang, we say the Lord's Prayer, the prayer He taught us to pray. And in that prayer is precisely exactly what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Forgive us our trespasses, gang, as we forgive those who
Trespass against us.
trespass against us. You know what I'm saying? Jesus taught us to pray that, bro. He know y'all are sinners. Y'all gonna be cutting each other, scarring each other up.
Yeah, facts.
You gonna feel right, and the next day he gonna feel right. You gonna feel done wrong, and the next day they gonna feel done wrong. It's gonna be a volley back and forth until the day you die. So he had to let us know, pray this, desire this from the Father, that you forgive others as you have been forgiven. And
Amen.
that's why we need, one, the Lord's Prayer. We need to pray it regularly. And two, that's why we need to go to local churches that keep the main thing the main thing. Rabbit Trail, I put a post on social media, and
Yeah.
somebody was thinking, man, Flame, this dude told me, man, Flame, your music reached me here in Malawi, and I was in the streets, and your music was evangelism to me, and I got saved. So I feel like these kind of posts, we should not do these. We should just be worried about people on the outside. They need the gospel. They need forgiveness. And it's like, amen to that. They do. And I'm like, bro, but we also are still sinners, bro. Like you can't move the goalposts. We need to regularly be hearing about the fact that we are contributing to someone else's displeasure, to someone else's discomfort. and we're not serving people. Sins of omission. This stuff that we supposed to be doing that we leaving undone.
Facts.
We have so many things that we could be doing that we just scrolling on our phone. You could be doing good, you just chilling, right?
Yeah.
So it's all types of ways we sin, not just robbing, stealing, killing, but it's did you do the good that you could have done? No, that's still
Gossip.
falling short. You feel me? Even
Gossip.
in the book of Leviticus, bro, they had sacrifices for unintentional sins. And
Yeah.
you still gotta cut that turtle dove and offer that mug on the altar because it's some stuff that you ain't even think about that you did wrong. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's what healthy Christianity, biblical Christianity does. It reminds you constantly need Jesus. You constantly need the forgiveness of sins because you're going to be being hurt by others. And guess what? You are also going to be hurting others. I know you think you're very pious. I know you think I'm very mature, and you're sensitive conscious, and you don't hurt people. Well, yes, you do. We all do, either in ways that are intentional or not. Things we could have done that we just stood by and let them hurt themselves. We let them crash out. Why you ain't say nothing? Well, I ain't wanna. That could be a sin too. So this is good, man. This is good. But I
Heavy topic.
as we get back into the clip, I do think it's trash that this is a trend, bro.
Oh, very
Just
much so.
Cutting people off.
Very much
That's
so.
wild. That's wild.
You thought you'd forgiven them, but you're still mad at them. You thought you had forgiven them, but your heart and mind are still filled with anger or sadness every time you see them or think about what they did to you. You thought you'd forgiven them, but maybe you haven't. Or maybe you have a misunderstanding of what forgiveness is actually like when it's lived out. We tend to think that forgiveness is flipping a switch and then it's done and we move on. But the truth is that forgiveness is a road that we walk. And on that road, some days I'm filled with grace and mercy towards this person. And other days, the pain is still raw and real. I'm angry, I'm sad, and I have to make a choice yet again, not to treat them as their sins against me deserve. I'm mindful of the story that Jesus tells about a son who'd gone off to a far country, screwed everything up, and then comes crawling back to his dad. And his dad forgives him. His dad throws a party for him. But you get the sense as Jesus tells this story that it's not the last time dad was going to have to forgive, not the last time dad was going to have to throw one of these welcome home parties, that the son was going to screw up again and the dad was going to have to forgive again. And you get a sense that the dad in the story was going to be willing to forgive again, to walk the long road of forgiveness with him. That's the sense you get. And friends, that's the kind of God we have, who when it comes to us, he forgives you and then he walks with you and offers grace and mercy to you over the long haul each and every day, and makes it possible for us, in his name and by the power of his Spirit, to do the same.
Woo! That was fire, bro.
Love that, bro.
Man, that's also the missing piece to this discussion. That is
Long suffering.
Long suffering, and the fact that he helped us understand that forgiveness is not this one-time event in our lived out experience. When we're talking about what Christ has done for us, yes, one-time definitive experience, but also an ongoing reality, also something we regularly need and return to. So it's both
Amen.
and he took that from a gospel reality and brought clarity to that, because some people are lost there. They think, yeah, the forgiveness of sins, I did that when I was a teenager. Now I've moved on to real Christianity, which is leveling up, cars, money, clothes, prosperity, manifestations, and all other kind of weird stuff. So he deads that by saying no. But then also on a ground level, when we're dealing with people, we also think I can't re-enter into this situation until I'm fully rid of the
point.
anger, the frustration. So I'm gonna keep my distance because I haven't truly forgiven them, because it does come back up. It does linger every now and again when I see their face, smell their cologne, see them winning at their job. They got the promotion, and I still got that sting when I even just when I hear their name. You know what I mean? So people feel like for that reason, I'm hands off. I'm not gonna insert myself into their life, into the situation. He's collapsing that type of thinking to say, no, you can still be practicing forgiveness as this ongoing thing, like the gospel, you know?
Yeah. No, 100%. And that's why I kept harping on you can still be there. You still can be around. You still can keep your distance as you're working through that yourself, but you still can walk with that person's from close range to a little further, realizing that now I'm still struggling with this, but I do see that, you're trying to make amends, and rather than me self in a corner until I get 100%, okay, I can't even remember what I was mad about. Now we can be friends. No, there's people you've hurt that still hold things like that against you, but still move forward. It might even be your parent. It might be a sibling. It might be one of your best friends. That aspect is something that's life. That's forgiveness walked out, lived in the day to day, to where you see it happen. You see that, it still rubs me the wrong way how that happened. Another time it's, man, that's water under the bridge. You have to be willing to go through those cycles of emotions as you walk. If you just wait until everything's said and done, you might be waiting forever,
Yeah,
not
that's a
forgiving,
fact.
just holding on to something.
Yep. And I do think um people need to hear that. And then also people need to be coached into how to set those healthy boundaries on that sort of ongoing journey of
Right.
forgiveness, right? So that's something, another thing, another skill that if you don't learn somewhere along the way, you may not accidentally pick it up. That's not one of the things that you may catch, right? So
Yes.
that's, I think, I don't even per se know how the local church can help with that in like a teachy way. I think it could be modeled. I think you can do therapy. I think if you
Yeah.
got the kind of friend that's conscious of it, y'all can have that kind of deep level conversation where it's like, hey, I'm gonna be honest with you, bro. Like sometimes it'd be hard for me to forgive and forget or let people back in. And then you can open up to somebody and they can be like, nah, I definitely feel that. Here's ways I do it. Cause my auntie
Right.
scarred me or my friend scarred me, but I let them come around still, but da 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 da. And I think those kind of conversations can go a long way. And all of this again, if you don't have money to pay for therapy, God has still got other ways to get you the help you need through local community, good friendships. That's why you need to be picking good friends, right? Wise and not seating in the council of the ungodly, the Psalms say. All these things help form and shape you in ways you may not have been shaped and formed at some pit stop in your life where you may have gotten
Right.
stuck. So this is good. I think too, man. This is how God lives with us, so to speak.
Ooh.
We
Yeah.
always are, falling short of the glory of God. We're always struggling along the way. And he does that dance with us where sometimes it's discipline, sometimes it's even blessings when we don't deserve it. And he's just moving throughout all those things with us. And in that way, he shapes us and matures us. And we have to see that, talk about it, put language to it, and then help one another practice that on the ground. Because I think it leads to the stuff that they talked about with Oprah and Joe Budden. It leads to a society of Christians and non-Christians who opt out and they say, I'm done with people. Some people go to the extreme. One of my partners, I remember it's funny, his wife, she used to like these super quirky, funny videos of people that were over humanity and they chose to live in the animal kingdom. You know what I'm saying? And
That's
they'll go
wild.
live like in the wild with all the wild animals, and it just be these funny YouTube documentaries of people that gotten close with a bear or, you know what I'm saying? Like wild stuff where the extreme end of I've been so hurt by society, I'm turning to a different species
Right. For
for
fellowship.
camaraderie and connectivity. You know what I'm saying?
That's wild.
But short of that, I think you get what Oprah and Joe Nim are talking about. You get a society that says, I can't do it. I don't trust people. And you know what? That shows up politically. I don't trust our politicians, sometimes for good reason. I don't trust our scientists. I'm not getting my kids vaccinated. I don't trust our government. I don't trust us, the church. The church is
Mm-hmm.
corrupt. Christendom is all about control and it blows out into all these categories, and then people end up isolated, feeling like I am the solution, I am the healing to my brokenness. I'ma love myself. I ain't gonna let myself down, and people become an idol, and they're hurting in one sense. They're victims, and again, this makes the gospel all the more relevant. We should be able to approach those people that have chosen to abandon their families, and we should be able
Yeah.
to say, I understand. I understand. It hurts. Life hurts. That's the law. The law says you can be hurt in this world because it's broken. That's a confronting reality. We
Facts.
give them that. But then we say, you know what? It's not going to help for you to stay in a distance. It's not going to help for you to cut your son off and never know if he got married, if he had kids,
Kids.
met
Yeah.
your grandkids. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's going to be a guilt that might further crush you in isolation. So the church comes to a broken society like that and says, there's good news for even that type of pain. And you ain't got to lean on yourself as God. You can trust in a one true living God for comfort, forgiveness for your part, and healing for the part somebody else heaped on you. And move into a community of people they understand just like you, and they suffering along the way,
Amen.
but they got more resources from God himself. Yeah, I mean, his word and sacrament. So,
Let's go.
sheesh, this is good, cuz.
You might drop on that, man. The study.
Hey, for real, cuz. This is good, man. I
That's real.
pray for us, bro. I pray for us. A lot of
Yeah.
people hurting like that. That's for real.
For real. Yeah, people be going through things like that, just serious things in general, where they just start distancing themselves. And the thing is I've always been the type of person where I'm not gonna let you distance yourself. Like I'm not gonna harp and be annoying about it, but I will make it a habit. Hey, what you doing? Hey, come with me to the bar and watch the game. Or you want to come out? Okay, we watch it there. Listen on the radio. We can sit here and just play dominoes, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like you're going to be around isolation and distancing yourself. It doesn't solve it like people think it does. If anything, a lot of times it might make you go further into it, where you just think about it constantly, rather than allowing things to grow and you to grow from that and learn new memories or understand what happened and be able to adapt and okay, that wasn't cool, this and this, and go forward from there. So yes, I have, but on the same note, the type of person I am is I'm still going to reach out. I'm still going to be there and try to help them through that, because the isolation, I've never really seen it work or play out for the good. You start distancing yourself from everybody you've known, loved, and grew up with, and family and friends, or something that might have seriously been bad. And it's like, hey, well, we could address that later on, because that's what I mentioned. Also, I hinted at it. People are cutting off whole families and whole, aspects like that. So this, like, you can't tell me everybody's guilty of that. So when I'm in that everybody crowd, it's like, well, I'm gonna step out. Hey, there's no reason for me to be out. Let's talk. You still need somebody. Well, you're gonna meet some random stranger who's willing to walk with you and talk to you. They don't even know you. So when you're sitting here and you're skewing the story, or they don't know. They're not around. They don't see where it's like, okay, but bro, let's do this. Let's help you get out this rut. So
Yeah.
yeah, I have, but that's kind of how I say that I play a role in it, where I try to make sure that even if I'm there, like what my mentor says, I'm there just for a sinner's ear. I'm here just to hear about this. I'm not even trying to offer correction or this. I'm letting you get it off your chest about how you don't want to forgive, how you're furious at this, how you want to do this, or how this and this. Just to be there, to be that ear for you, that shoulder. That's that community to help people get through these things. So yeah,
That's fire, bro. Now I love that, man. Now I can vouch for that as a friend. You are that person that's gonna check in. So now that's real talk. Cause I also think we can it's a lot in this topic. So we about to bring this mug to a close. But we could talk about how, man, we need to really build up in this area in terms of dating and relationships. We need our next generation of people to get married, bro. You know what I mean? We need people developing families and producing Christian homes. So Yeah, we got
Yeah.
a lot of work to do as a church, man, but God is patient with us.
That's
He's giving
real.
us grace and gospel. So much more could be said, gang. But anyway, this was good. Hope y'all enjoyed this banter, this dialogue, all the clips, all that. We didn't catch y'all last week, so we back. You feel me? So stay tapped in, stay locked in. Man,
That's
the
real.
comment section's insane. The
Miss
Steady
y'all.
Boys. We miss y'all. We back. We keeping it going.
Yeah.
Let's go.
Let's go.
Ooh, the study.
The study.